Kristen McCarthy reaches a historic milestone. We'll tell you just exactly what that is next on Owlsports Update. Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Owlsports Update. Alongside Dan Koob, I'm Joe Polinsky. Coming up, the men's basketball team continues A-10 play. We'll tell you just exactly how the Owls are faring.
And we're filling up with hoops in this edition of Owlsports, and we've got not one, but two 1,000-point scores on the women's side. But first, we're talking men's hoops. Well, we hope you enjoyed your holiday break because honestly it probably went better for you than the men's basketball team. While we've been away, the Owls have gone 6-3 and dropped out of the national rankings. They saw Juan Fernandez suffer a bone bruise to his knee in practice and Lavoy Allen continue to struggle, but enter the 49ers of Charlotte and enter Relier Jefferson. The sophomore picks off the pass here and goes coast to coast, slamming it down for the Owls as they take an early lead. Temple did struggle to get much of a lead in this one, but the defense proved to be too strong. TJ DeLeo with the steal up to Wyatt, back to the freshman Brown for the slam. And here we see Wyatt working, getting into the paint, hitting the open jumper, much to the pleasure of the biggest fan of the Owls, Dutch Gately. And in the second half here, we have Jefferson dishing to Lavoy. For the deuce, the slam, Owls win 76-67. The Owls moved to 14-5 on the year with the win over the 49ers. Temple starting to get scoring contributions up and down their roster. Scooty Randall added 14 points to Wyatt's 17 to go along with the usual suspects, Allen and Ramon Moore, all of whom finished in double figures. Juan Fernandez sat out of the game with that bruised knee as the Owls look to rest their star point guard for the latter end of the season. The win over the 49ers is a nice bounce-back game following an 11-point loss at Xavier on January 22nd. Temple got a big boost from Scooty Randall, who poured in a career-high 27 and 18 points from Khalif Wyatt. The 77 points for the Owls is 8 points higher than what the team is averaging per game, but Xavier's 88-point explosion is by far the most Temple has allowed this year.
As we continue to move back in time before the Xavier game, the Owls were up against Penn in a Big 5 game. Of course, anytime Temple plays Penn, it has Fran Dunphy up against his old squad. And former Governor Ed Rendell was on hand for this one, and what a game he saw as we pick it up early in the first half with Connor Turley scoring an easy layup around Michael Eric. But here come the Owls as Lavoy Allen comes up short on the J, but there's Scooty dishing it out to Ramon Moore, who gives it right back to Randall, who makes the Quakers pay with the dreaded long ball, one of 6 the Owls would make all night for Coach Fran Dunphy. But you know who the real star in this one was, Dan? Khalif Wyatt, who was like Subway, except he wasn't eating fresh, he was just looking fresh, scoring a career-high 27 points that even William Penn himself would call a good outing as the Owls cruised to a 73-56 victory. And with the win, the Owls improved to 1-1 in Big 5 play. Temple held the Quakers to just 19 of 43 shooting in the win. The Cherry and White were led off the bench from Khalif Wyatt, who's from my neck of the woods, Dan, the great city of Norristown, Pennsylvania, with those 27 points. But he wasn't alone scoring in double figures, as Ramon Moore and Lavoy Allen each put up 12 and 10 points, respectively. The Owls hit the road for 2 big conference tilts starting at the Palestra Saturday afternoon against the St. Joe's Hawks. The Cherry and White will then do a little exploring, if you will, up North Broad Street to play the LaSalle Explorers. Then it's back home for a party. Temple will celebrate the most beloved mascot in all of college sports, Hooter the Owl's birthday, February the 5th against Rhode Island.
Well, coming up, Kristen McCarthy hits a big shot against St. Joe's and hits an even bigger benchmark for her career.
And we don't want to give anything away, but let's say there are about 1,000 times 2 reasons to stick around. Owlsports Update will be right back.
Face mask down. All right. What about the chest guard? It looks loose. Is it loose? All right, what about the shin guards? All right. Okay. Here comes the heat. Bring it in. Bring it in. Good hustle.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
There are 380,000 NCAA student athletes. And most of us will go pro
in something other than sports.
in something other than sports. To learn more, go to ncaa.org.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Hello.
Chrissy, hey.
Hey, Alex.
How are you?
Alex? Alex?
Oh.
Hello. I'm Mrs. Garcia. We've heard a lot about you.
He is cute. Stop.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Love that music. It's not exactly a secret that Chris McCarthy has a natural ability to shoot the basketball. She had a 40-point game last year, Joe, coming against Charlotte.
Yes, and what a game that was nearly 1 year ago at the Leah Core Center, the same place where the women's basketball team welcomed in their city rival, the St. Joe's Hawks, for a crucial Big Five matchup. As the Owls are introducing their starting lineups, there's the girl of the hour right there, Kristen McCarthy, getting ready for this Big Five battle. We pick it up early in the first half with the Owls in transition as Natasha Thames dishes to McCarthy, who says, "I could take it from here, girls," knocking down a three-pointer. Later in the half, McCarthy drives up the baseline, providing a little assist to Thames for the easy deuce. The Owls defense forces a St. Joe's turnover as Shea Petty provides a nice little layup for the Owl faithful, soon followed by Quita Wallace's layup over Hawk defenders and another Shea Petty layup. But this day belonged to Kristen McCarthy, and as Gatorade asked us, is it in you? It certainly was in McCarthy, knocking down another long ball as the Owls prevailed 58-43. McCarthy is the 18th player in Temple women's basketball history to reach such a milestone. She also grabbed 11 boards in the contest to tie a career high while earning her first double-double on the season. Here is the junior forward talking about the accomplishment.
I think I'll look back on it when I'm done in my college career and be like, wow, I scored 1,000 points. But as of right now, we're just trying to get better and do well in the A-10. So.
And the Owls' win streak has reached 7 games thanks to a pair of road victories against Penn in Massachusetts. Shea Petty led the way for the Cherry and White, scoring a combined 39 points and 11 rebounds. But the big news coming from this road trip was Quita Wallace. Her 21 points against UMass give her exactly 1,000 career points as well at Temple. So now the Owls have 2 1,000-point scorers on the court at the same time.
The Owls will move deeper into the Atlantic 10 conference schedule in the coming week. On Saturday the 29th, Temple returns home for contests against the Richmond Spires, and St. Joe's is on the schedule 4 days later. The Owls are currently 14-6 overall and 5-0 in Atlantic 10 play as they look to strengthen their tournament resume in the coming weeks. Well, Joe, 2 1,000-point scores, really impressive. How many points did you score in your time as a basketball star from Caliph's, Wyatt's, Norristown Eagles?
Well, I don't remember exactly how many, but I can surely say I made a couple all-star teams myself. But you know what an all-star segment of this show really is? The Nest.
Well, I find your all-star selection hard to believe, but yes, I agree. Let's go. For all those ESPN insiders, the first and second round of NFL mock drafts are out, and if you look closely enough to Mel Kiper's first mock draft, you'll see a familiar name. Muhammad Wilkerson, the two-time All-MAC defensive tackle, is projected to go 30th overall to the New York Jets. Kiper says if Wilkerson came back to Temple, he could have possibly been a top 15 pick in next year's draft. Stay tuned, Owl enthusiasts. This year's draft class will learn their fate starting on April 28th.
Coach Steve Adazio continues to fill out his coaching staff, hiring Ben Albert as the Owls' new defensive line coach. Albert comes from the Jacksonville Jaguars.
And the men's gymnastics team took top honors at the Navy Invitational by besting the host school by 3 points. Senior Patrick McLaughlin won first place in the high bar and then straightened things out by taking the top spot in the parallel bars as well. The team will host Penn State and Army in their first home game on January 30th.
Well, that's all for this edition of Owlsports Update. Be sure to follow the Cherry and White anytime by logging on to owlsports.com.
For Joe Polinsky and the rest of the Owlsports team, I'm Dan Coop. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.